Welcome back to Club Dino. This is Scott with Dino 08492 in the shop, and I wanted to go over a major servicing called a valve adjust on the Dino. Dino engine is quite robust, and generally their worst downfall are leaks, not failures of any components. Unfortunately, the alternator is under the valve covers, so the leaks generally take out that. But to do a valve adjust is a major servicing. And in getting this car here, we had to go through deciding process on what to do. And I wanted to go through and discuss it with you. There are a couple of reasons to not do a valve adjust, and there are a couple of reasons to do a valve adjust on this vehicle. Number one, the 30,000 servicing is the time for is a scheduled time for the Dino. This car only has 15,600 miles on it, so it is quite early, and that's a good reason not to do the servicing. Car is running well, item number 2, so that's a great reason not to do the servicing. And most importantly, item number 3, it is extremely involved to do a valve adjust. Truly, to do the adjust itself, it's a couple hours, but getting to it, removing all the things, the cooling system, the induction system, the fuel system, and I now have 4 magnetic trays holding separate parts to keep them separate and taking lots of pictures. Now, as you've noticed in the other videos with the cooling system, the fuel system, we're already there, right? So we got good reasons to do the valve adjust at this time. And we will be, all taking advantage that we are already there with the cooling, the AC, the fuel system are all off. In this car, if you've seen the other videos, the cooling system had that nasty rust stalagmites. I had a gag reflex and had to leave the room. The fuel system had a horrible looking yellow fluid emitting it that I quickly departed the room with a gag reflex again. Then, let's see, reason number 3 to do it. Let's see, and that is that it's the best start for a new ownership. You don't want to chase induction problems, ignition problems, fuel problems if your valve are not a solid known base. You could be running yourself around the axle, throwing big dollars, trying to chase something that is not the problem when the base part of the engine is. Let's see. Item number 4 to do this. Reason to do it, I have noticed these are BP6 ES plugs. That's a little hotter range, one hotter range than I have ever seen in a Dino that I've run. BP7 ESs are the plug of choice in my house. So if you run BP6s, that's a hotter plug. It may be that you are solving problems elsewhere. A car does run nice, but then again, it has the original Dinoplex. So I don't know, does a weak spark and a hot spark plug cancel each other out? Anyhow, the last reason to do it is right up here. Cylinder number 5, near the firewall that gets the least amount of air and is the last ventilated, and that exhaust valve will go tight further than others in the 3 Dinos I have. Now, that's not a big sampling, but I would keep your eye on exhaust valve number 5. Now, fast forward into the Dino work, and we've already done it. I produced these worksheets for my work, recording the dates and each cylinder's performance. It starts off with measurements of each cylinder, what the spec is, the difference, calculate the difference between that you're out, and then pull your old shim and find out what that is, and then calculate what the new shim will be and install it, and then come back later and measure it. As you're bumping the engine around, you'll have chances to do multiple measurements, and that's what I've done here. So everything is back in spec, and what we found is every single exhaust valve was in spec. It's the intakes which were 2 sizes, 1 to 3 sizes off. Most of them were 2 sizes off, and we've corrected that now. Let's talk about the worksheet and using the tool. I bought this from this shim set in Germany. It's about $300 for all these varieties. They're marked properly and everything. Do not use the F word, Ferrari, when you go to buy these shims. These are 33 millimeter alpha, and there will be a serious, what we call, tax. What you want to do is say, oh, I have a Fiat 850 and I need 33 millimeter shims. The parts guy will immediately have pity on you. Oh my gosh, that poor guy. Now, when you start ordering, like 15, 16 shims for a 4-cylinder engine, he may get a little suspicious, but pay quickly. Other things you'll need to do it too, besides a shim assortment to get the measurements, you'll need a tool, a pry tool, and then a locking tool. These were from Dino Parts. Do not like these. This is not aggressive enough on the take, and the locking pin is too aggressive on the uptake. The profile should be. This is more like for a 12-cylinder, not for a Dino. I would not buy this from Dino Parts. Again, you need a good feeler gauge, new gaskets all over. Please don't freak out. This is many sets I have from before, and things to clean the rim of the valve covers before you put them on. Always use new gaskets. And from my sheet here, I have a special note. The secret to doing this and making sure there are no leaks is the 6 millimeter valve cover studs take a nut which is torqued to 6.5 foot-pounds. Only 6.5 foot-pounds. If you torque heavily between this stud and, the stud that's missing there, which will go back in, it will, if you torque, it will bow and allow a leak to form there. You can think that over cranking will produce tighter results. Not so on these aluminum heads and valve covers. You must adhere to 6.5 foot-pounds. Remember, the detriment of the Dino engine are oil leaks. The worst thing that happens on Dino engines are valve cover oil leaks, and there's the secret to resolve them. 6.5 foot-pounds on all the 6 millimeter nuts for the valve cover gaskets. This also gives you a good time to check your timing chain, tension 2. These are really nice condition. Clean it up. In doing a valve adjust, let me give you another hint too. I don't have a pry. You'll stick it in, pry it out. If you have compressed air, unfortunately I do not. That makes a really good idea, a really good helper to get the shim out of the bucket. Also, make sure that you have the little lip of the bucket facing out so you can get a pick in there, or what I like to use, since I don't have compressed air, is WD-40. I hit that and I float it up. The problem is the shim has surface tension holding it into the bucket, and a pry just doesn't seem to get it to pull up all the time. So let's see. That's pretty much what we've been doing. Now the big part is to put it back together. Just completed the valve adjust and triple measured some of them. And really happy with this. I'm really, the more I see this, as you look at these valves, they're absolutely fantastic. 48-year valves. Remember, early Dinos came out. Look at how mirror-like it is, They're all spectacular like that. And a brand new look. I am absolutely convinced this is a 15,000 mile. From what I see inside the engine and everything, it is just impressive. The lack of wear and everything. Anyhow, thank you very much for coming along. Let's put it back together and finally get back on the road. Coming up, Halloween weekend 2022, we will be have been accepted at the Las Vegas Concours d'Elegance. Please come along. It's a wonderful high-end event of lots of beautiful cars to see if you're in Las Vegas at the Wynn Resort. Thank you very much. Have a great Dino day.